2.2 is divisibility. I put them in order here. Let me make them a little bigger where it's easier to read. Divisibility, it divides by 2 if it's even, which means it ends in 2, 4, 6, 8, or 0. It divides by 3 if the sum of the digits is divisible by 3. We covered a little bit of that in 2.1. We'll do it again. And 4, the rule is if the last 2 digits divide by 4. And the reason for that is because 100 divides by 4. You know how there's 4 quarters in 100? So anything from 100 up we know will already divide by 4. So all you got to do is check the last 2 digits. And the rule for 5 is if it ends in a 5 or a 0. The rule for 6 is if it's divisible, or if it divides by 2 and it divides by 3. Not one or the other, but both. Then it will divide by 6. For 7, there is no easy test. So just divide it by 7 to check that one.
Will you put it back up?
Oh, you're not? Okay, sure.
Thank you.
And for 8, you check the last 3 digits. If the last 3 digits divide by 8, it divides by 8. And the reason for that one is that 8 divides into 1,000. So all you have to do is check everything after the 1,000 place, the hundreds, tens, and ones place. So those last 3 digits, if you divide that by 8 and it does divide, then the whole thing will. It will divide by 9 if the sum of the digits divide by 9. That's the same rule as 3, except when you add it up, instead of it needing to divide by 3, it needs to divide by 9. And then if the 10, if it ends in a 0. Okay, so we're going to use some of these rules. Let me just pick a few numbers here, and we'll test them to see if they divide. Okay. Let me shrink it down just a little bit, and we'll stick it up there where we can still read it. Okay, let's pick the number, let's pick a long number. Okay, this number right here, will that divide by 2?
No.
Last digit's not 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, so it does not divide by 2. How about 3? You need to add it up. 2 plus 5 is 7. 8, 9, 10, 11. Plus 7 is 18. 24. Plus 5 is 29. Will 29 divide by 3?
Yeah.
30 would. 29 won't. So it doesn't divide by 2, and it doesn't divide by 3. How about 4? The rule is to check the last 2 digits right here. Will 65 divide evenly by 4? No. We saw a while ago that 16 times 4 was 64. So if it was a 6 and a 4, that would have been wonderful. But it doesn't divide by 4 either. How about 5? Yes, we finally found one. It does divide by 5. How about 6? No, it doesn't divide by either 2 or 3. It has to do both. 7, we would actually have to divide it. Okay, so you would actually have to do the division. 7 into 25. 3 is 21. Okay, how about into 44? 6 is what? 42. Into 27. 3 is 21. down. 7 into 66. What is it? 9? And 7 into 35. Oh, yes. That one actually works. Wouldn't it have been terrible to do all that work and then it didn't even work? So it divides by 7. Okay, how about 8? What are we going to do? How are we going to test it? So these 3 digits, we just have to divide these 3 by 8. 8 into 76. Okay. About 9. So 8 times 9, 72. How about into 45? Goes 5 times, but it doesn't come out even, does it? So it will not divide by 8. Okay, how about 9? The sum of the digits. We've already done that once and it adds up to 29. Does 29 divide by 9? No. So it won't divide by 9. And it didn't divide by 6 either, huh? How about 10? No. It doesn't end in 0. So you just keep applying these rules over and over and over, okay? It gives you, in the book, it gives you like a big old list of numbers. See these numbers? It shows you all these numbers. Which of the above is divisible by 2? So you have to pick all the ones that end in 2, 4, 6, 8, or 0. Between your answers, since these have commas, you'll probably want to put a semicolon between your answers. Okay? That way it'll be easier to read. Or you might want to underline them. If you have the answers 46, and then you have 300, and then you have 224, and you have the answer 21,568. See how they start? It's hard to tell that this is actually a whole number because it's just commas. So you might want to put semicolons between each answer. That way you'll know the difference between an answer that has a comma and another answer, okay? So put semicolons between your answers, or you can underline each answer or highlight them separately, whatever makes it easier to see, okay? And that's the only thing this section's about, just using those divisibility rules over and over and over. Any questions? Yep.